Still working for now, we're going to call corresponding. Still working with parallel lines in a transversal. The instruction is solve for x, but we're going to be looking at question number 5. Now, corresponding are two angles on the same line on the transversal. So you notice they're on the right side of the transversal, but they're not adjacent. They're not next to each other. They happen to be, one of the angles happens to be in between the parallel lines, and the other angle happens to be outside of the parallel lines. And once again, they're not adjacent. So the angles are on the same side of the transversal. One of the angles is in between the parallel lines, the other one outside of the parallel lines, but they're not next to each other. We're going to call this corresponding. And the reason why we call it corresponding is because if I was to cut this corner, if I was to cut that corner and replace it on this corner, those two angles are going to overlap. So once again, if I was to cut the top corner, just grab some scissors, cut it out, and put it on top of the bottom corner, those two angles will be overlapping. Since they're going to be overlapping, we can tell they are the same angle. So the way we're going to solve for corresponding, we're going to let them equal each other. So I'm just going to say that 27x minus 1 is equal to 25x plus 5. Let me separate my sides. So the equal sign, I'm going to move the smallest x. I move the smallest x just to avoid dealing with negatives if possible. The negative 1, let me move it over as a plus 1. So don't forget to move the numbers. Don't forget to switch the sign. All right, we're doing opposite signs. So on the left side, I have 27 minus 25. So that's going to give me 2x. On the right side, I have 5 plus 1. It's going to give me 6. I see a 2 in front of the x, so let me divide both sides by 2. I'm going to get that x is equal to 3. On the homework, just don't type in x equals 3. Type in just 3. So just the number, just 3. Now looking at question number 6. I'm dealing with corresponding angles again. Remember, corresponding, they're on the same side of the transversal. One of them is in between the parallel lines. The other one is not. But the two angles are not adjacent. That means they're not sharing a side. So therefore, I'm just going to let them equal each other. So I'm just going to say that 9x minus 2 is equal to 70. I'm going to separate my angles to the equal side. I see x is on the left side only. So the minus 2, let me move it to the right side as a plus 2. So that gives me the 9x equals 72. Let me divide by the number in front of the x. So let me divide by 9. 72 divided by 9 gives me 8. Value of x equals 8. Once again, in the homework, just type in 8. You don't have to type in x equals, just 8.